Hey guys, Youngblood with you for your Summarize the Verse, covering your Around the Verse from January 18th, which was specifically about the ship production pipeline. Now I typically cover Reverse the Verse as well, but seeing as this was primarily focused on music composition and not a lot of new information about upcoming things were being shared, I'm going to end up skipping that video this week in the summary. Now, the beginning of ATV was really focused on the Austin team members who were involved in getting a ship from concept to completed, and while it was good to see the entire team being highlighted, the value more so came from seeing how it jumps from teams starting with concept, then moving to vehicle art, system design, user interface, audio, QA, and then really getting to VFX before then moving into like marketing where they work up the details on the sale, and that process was kind of highlighted. Now, next up in this segment was interviews with Roberts and a few others regarding how ship ideas come about and how they end up putting those into the game, which was an interesting story. But it was about what you would expect, and it didn't really reveal a lot of information on things to come. So before I get into what I'd consider to be the real portion of this video, I did want to at least say that CIG had a much more natural and in-depth ATV here than other ones that we've seen before. Just a lot of the information wasn't super relevant to those that are just looking for the core details. Okay, so getting to the updates on where ships are in the pipeline, we're going to break it down by stage from nearest to finished to the furthest away. Entering final flight prep, we have the Razor, the Terrapin, the Reclaimer, and the Cyclone. Entering final modeling stage, we have the Avenger rework, the Eclipse, the Mustang Alpha rework, the Idris, and the 600i. Now, it is worth pointing out that when I say nearest to finished, I don't necessarily mean nearest to release. For example, like the Mustang Alpha would be something they could probably drop into the game as soon as it's ready to go, but the Idris is a bigger ship. There's other considerations that need to be made to really decide if it's safe to put it into the game or not. So I don't want you guys to get your hopes up and say, oh man, the Idris is almost in game. There may be more to it than that. Entering the kit bashing phase as the Hammerhead, which is exciting. That ship is really moving along very fastly, and I think that's probably going to be a prerequisite. I think we're going to see the Hammerhead go in game before the Idris so they can start testing larger scale combat. Then we have the gray box phase with surfacing and modeling, and we have the Hurricane, the Blade, and the Phoenix just entered that phase as well. And then finally, the furthest from release right now that's being worked on is the F8 Lightning, which is in white box. Now, they finished up the episode covering a lot of information on the Misk Razor, which is really looking like a pretty awesome little ship. Some bits that stood out as being interesting were that they were trying to make it feel like a fairly luxurious interior in the cockpit, like they wanted it to look like it's actually comfortable. Also, the cockpit canopy folds back in 3 directions to allow for entry and exit, which should be pretty unique to this ship. They said that right now they plan on it being faster in a straight line than the M50, however the M50 would be more agile. They've also had a bit noting that the gray areas on the brackets in the front and back involve some GN technology that are supposed to allow for greater hydrogen absorption, meaning more boost available more often. And the last note was a change in design based on some animation issues. Basically, the ship is more narrow in the belly area than the original concept showed, and was mainly to allow for easier entrance, similar to what the M50 has, and so you don't end up with clipping issues. So that's basically it for the episode. I hope you guys feel up to speed. Stay tuned for a lot more content coming soon, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care.